You can adjust the tee and the pin position simply by dragging on them. And then we use this red target icon at the bottom to draw on the line that we were aiming for the ball to finish on. This is a really key metric. For example, up the right of this hole is out of bounds with the railway, so our target line might be a little bit more left of centre of the fairway. We then measure the accuracy of the drive right or left of this line. The benefit of this is the line is a fixed point that is constant whatever golf course or whatever hole we play. As we all know, golf has different widths of fairways on every hole, different widths of fairways on every golf course. Traditional stats would judge your accuracy by how often you hit the fairway and whether you missed left or right and by how much. Clearly, if you have a 20-yard wide fairway and you miss it by 1 yard to the left, that is drastically different from missing a 50-yard wide fairway 1 yard to the left. However, traditional stats would say that they're both the same. As we can see, that's absolutely ludicrous. So we simply draw on that target line and then drag, as in the basic, to the location the ball was at, and it will measure the distance right or left of that line to give us a true dispersion. We then have this pop-up where there's compulsory things to enter. The shot category and start lie, it's calculated automatically. We simply input the end results. In play is typically the fairway, or it could even be a drivable par 4 where you've tried to hit the green or hit it up to the green side and maybe just gone in the rough, but it's in a really good position. Minor is in the position where you've still got a clean shot to the green, but maybe you're in rough or sand, so there's a slight disadvantage to being in the fairway. Major, chipping out from trees, fairway bunker where it's deep and you're just having to hit it down the hole, laying up. Penalty of 1, chip out sideways or water hazard, and penalty of 2, lost ball or out of bounds. We've also built in these extra optional sections that some of the tour players use. For example, what section the pin was in, what the shape of the hole was, what club was used, and the wind direction and strength. This allows us to go into even deeper detail in the analysis if they want to input that data. If they don't, they can simply move on. For approach shots, again, we're very rarely hopefully aiming at flags. This is a mistake most amateurs make, in that they're constantly aiming at the flag when the shot dispersion just says that shouldn't be the case. If you think of the 12th hole at Augusta, they have a front right pin position there where most players will be aiming 30 foot long left of the flag. If they hit that perfect shot, 30 foot long left, on most stats that will show up that they've hit a 9-iron with a 30 foot pull. 30 foot away from the flag, not a good shot. Actually, it's a perfect shot, dead straight on their target. So we want to know both pieces of information, and the only way to know that is to again draw on this target icon. So say here, I was aiming 25 foot long left of the flag, and then I just drag to where my ball finished. For example, I was in this bunker. Again, you can enter some of the optional extras. For end shot results, we class how you miss a green by where you're on the green. Was it an easy miss, a medium miss, a hard miss, penalty of 1, penalty of 2. Again, this gives us a much clearer picture of how good your approach play and also your short game was. For example, if I've missed a lot of greens in hard spots, I can see that that's a problem with maybe my strategy. In this case, it was a medium miss, and then we go to short game. I hit it to 3 foot. It was from sand, it went on the green, and it was a medium difficulty bunker shot. Again, one of the extras we offer for short game is to actually put the shot type. Was it a finesse wedge, chip or pitch shot, a bunker shot, a lob shot, a putt, or another type of shot, maybe a putt with a 3-wood, for example. Again, this is giving that layer of detail that really allows the coach to single out what specific area is good or bad. On the putting screen, we can adjust the putt length if we need to. We have the speed, so was it in the hole, was it within 2 foot past that, within 2 foot short or short of that. The beauty is it's given us a lot of detail with very quick entry. For example, if we go through a hole in normal time, I was aiming there, I hit it to 140 there, it was in play. I was then aiming slightly right of the flag, 12 foot. I hit it on the front of the green, 32 foot. It went on the green, saved the shot. I had 33 foot. I hit it into that 2 foot past range for speed. I then had a 2 foot tap in that I hold. Finished the hole. As you can see, the entry is very, very fast, and the benefit of it being on the maps is it helps you remember the shots as well. If we go to the analysis now, this is some of the stuff that it can show us. For example, your score and then the breakdown of that per hole for par 3, 4 or 5 holes, the amount of eagles, birdies, pars, bogeys and doubles. And you can actually add a comparison below. For example, you might want to compare all your rounds that you've played to your best 10 rounds. And from that, you will see quite specific patterns that help you understand when you play your best golf, what the differences are. We can also view a round by round view of your scoring on this chart. The next section is strokes gained. Again, you can add comparisons below or actually view some of the other tabs as well. So in this case, I can see that my strokes gained total is minus 4.55 and I'm losing the majority of those shots on my tee shots whilst putting really well. If I look at tee shots in detail, I can see that it's quite a constant problem. I'm having a lot of rounds where I'm losing a high number of shots off the tee. For example, I lost 11 strokes in this one round alone. For putting, I can see that it's actually opposite. I'm gaining in quite a lot of those rounds and I'm generally putting really well. We have the traditional stats for people who want to view them, and then we can go to specific areas. For example, if I've seen that my tee shots aren't very good, I can then jump to this. I can see the number of shots or strokes gained, the driving distance, the distance on average right or left of my target line. For example, I'm 20 yards on average away from that target line, which is very big. A player like Tommy Fleetwood would typically be around the 8 or 9 mark for that stat. I can then see the percentage of shots that would hit a 25-yard target fairway based on taking our target line and the distance either side, and then what percentage is missing more than 20 yards plus right or left. What we see is obviously a very high amount of big misses, 46.8% in that stat. I then see my in-play percentage and a major penalty percentage, which is then very high. The next slide shows us our dispersion. So we have the target line in blue, the driving distance up the left, and then the dispersion right or left, with the coloured dots representing the end result. So we can see a lot of big misses to the left, with the orange, yellow, red dots coming quite a lot there. Sadly in this case as well, there's also quite a number of those a long way right, so I've got a big two-way miss going on. I need to call the swing coach. We see in the table the breakdown of those shots as well, to give you the numbered context to that information. Again, you can add comparisons below. You could filter this by club used, by par 4 and par 5 holes, or by different time frames, wind directions, etc. The end result, and we can view this round by round, shows the breakdown of those shots. As we can see, I'm having a lot of those yellow, oranges and reds in a high number of rounds. This helps us spot trends, see if we're actually improving, staying the same or getting worse in certain categories. Again, all of this can be filtered in extreme detail. For approach play, we have this summary page that gives a bit of indication, your distance, your strokes gained, your distance via the pin, your distance versus what your target was, your green percentage, and the amount of misses in hard or penalty positions. We then also have the strokes gained by different distance ranges, and we can see quite clearly here the 175 to 225 range is one that is costing me quite a lot. We can then look at different things underneath, so for example, the footage via the pin versus the target, and the end result. So again, if we look at this 175 to 225 range, you'll see on the graph at the bottom, very low green percentage in the 175 to 200 range, and a high amount of hard and penalty misses in those categories. So I know that is why those numbers are high. I can then go to the dispersion pattern, and I can see on here where those misses are coming from. I could filter this by the distance range, by the start lie, by wind direction, etc. The coloured dots represent the miss. So for example, the browns, reds, yellows are the poorer misses, the greens are the better misses. Here I can see again a bit of a left miss pattern. So again, that's very valuable information to take to my coach. The final graph is on the end result, and you can see this again round by round to see, is it a common theme or is it just a couple of rounds that have been really bad that have maybe skewed the numbers. Also on the dispersion, we can actually view versus your target versus your actual pin and actually compare both as well. We can add comparisons below if we need to. For short game, we have our strokes gained and then the average distance from the pin after the shot's broken down by easy, medium and hard. Obviously, a lot of hard shots can skew the overall average, so being able to see each difficulty individual is important. It also shows the percentage of hard shots that helps explain the strokes gained stat. We can go on to the dispersion and we can see an actual breakdown, how many shots were inside 3 foot, 6 foot, etc. from each distance. We can even filter this by different shot types. So for example, if I wanted to see just my medium bunker shots, I can go into the filters and do that, and it will show me the pattern of those misses on the left. For example, I could be missing a lot to the right, a lot short, a lot long. Our final graph in this section is your breakdown. You can see round by round what shots are finishing in what zone. Again, we could filter this to maybe just look at easy and medium shots as well. The putting screens show our strokes gained and then by the different distance brackets. And at the bottom, what I call a sort of good putt percentage. So for mid-range, what percentage are either in the hole or safe zone past, within 2 foot past the hole. So a really good putt for mid-range. From over 40 foot, we include the safe zone short of the hole, so within 2 foot around the hole in effect. This helps give a bit more context to strokes gained. If we look at it by area, we see the only real weak area is 3 to 5 foot for me. The mid-ranges are typically very good, and again we can even put below and see the breakdown of speed in those ranges. For example, are you hitting a lot past the hole? Are you hitting a lot short of the hole? We can also see the conversion breakdown round by round. We can filter this graph by specific distance.